Hey everybody, Bludborn here. Just wanted to give you a little update while the servers are down for the 18.2.2 update. Um, this is a really small update, really just some really tweaks and things like that. Most of it is geared around the Stable Master collection that was brought out in 18.2. So they've fixed some labeling issues with the map, like Wolf's Cleft Overlook is now discoverable. Byre Tor is no longer labeled as Wallstow. Um, the A lot of the area and region labels were fixed, and now you can actually use the buttons for travel and showing the map. Because I noticed that right away when it went live, you couldn't actually show it on the map. Did a little bit of adjustments on the landscape frill. So if you are using one of the higher DirectX clients, and you have the frill turned on, like a lot more grass and trees and shrubs and stuff like that, they've adjusted some of where that is and what it looks like. So there were some things that were covering up mobs and covering up other things. So that's been adjusted. And then housing, they've fixed the issue where the ambient music is actually stacking on itself. So that could get quite annoying quite quickly. And the final thing is that they have reopened the ruined city, where they fixed an issue that you couldn't actually get in the door to the final boss room without a GM porting you in. So that's all the update is. I wanted to point out one thing as well, kind of around the ruined city specifically, but in a broader scope, the 3-man setup. So the ruined city needs a little bit more help than that, in my opinion. I think that it's in a spot where there's really only certain classes you want to take into that zone, and that's never a good feeling. That means that it's not built correctly, that even if you have people that are very, very skilled at playing a particular class, you don't want to take them. That's not a good scenario to have. So, what I'm seeing is optimal is, Warden, Captain, RK, Captain 2 RKs, uh, Captain RK, anything else. um, but like, you get into a scenario where the guys that I play with, we have my champion, Brant on his captain, and then Dave on his Berg. It's not a good setup for melee. It's actually a terrible instance for melee, where ranged is highly favorable and caster is highly favorable. So, and what I really mean by that is if I look at the 3-man setups in the past, so you go as far back as the first one that we ever had, that was a 3-man, which was the school and the library. There was no tier 2. It just was what it was, and there was a challenge on it. There was a challenge added later. It was very specific, but you could still do it with pretty much any class makeup that you wanted. And I think it's really just the fact of the tier 2 buffs that really make this a lot more challenging. So it's something like the Jukator fight, where you could have your 50% resist rating, and you're still there's a pretty high chance you're still going to die to that bleed, because it's each tick that has a 50% chance to resist. And for those of you who know how the percentages work in this game, especially anybody who has even gone as far back as Hellegrod and used the Scroll of Ages for crafting, where you could get a 90% chance to crit on something and still miss, rage quit ensues. So anytime there is a chance for something, that's really frustrating, because you could be the best you could possibly be and do everything you're supposed to, and it still not work correctly, or you still die, or you still miss, or you still anything could not happen, and that's frustrating. So when there's an element of luck that is involved with an instance, I don't personally like that. The Thrug fight is highly random. He targets random targets. Another fight where ranged or caster, especially in RK, is highly favorable. It's frustrating because, again, I have a the group of friends that I play with is typically melee. You have a captain, a berg, and a champion. So we have to get right up in the fray, and it doesn't end so well. So those are just some of the things that, like the current 3-man, especially involving them in tier 2. Maybe some of that needs to be adjusted. I don't know what it looks like, but that's just been some of the frustration that we've had over our time. But that is all I really had for this update. I just wanted to provide something while the servers were offline. Should be coming up here in the next few hours, and I hope to see you guys in game soon, and hope to see you on the stream soon. So take care, and I will see you next time.